These couple of scenes have been on the HEV, which is said EV. On the way to Chemur, this is heading back towards the city. These cars, by the way, were built in East Germany. As usual, good loadings. This is one of the few places where the metro comes out above ground. It's the last two stations on the number 2 metro, which is shown as red on the map. As you can see, protected third rail. In case I haven't said so before, the cars are built in Russia. Looks like the trains are about 2 stations apart. Also to see 2 car styles there. Fairly plain inside with longitudinal seats. The final step will be the 56 tram, which comes into Moscow Ter, which is doing at the moment. Unloading. It'll go around the back of the station and take me up to the bottom end of the railway, Huvesvölgy. One thing that has changed here is that the 4s and 6s no longer do the big loop around the square. They come into a stub end terminus and go out again. There's one preparing for the outbound trip. In the background there's another one arriving. They used to go around a loop behind me, but that doesn't happen anymore. I guess it's made this place a little less interesting, but there's still heaps of trams around. Number 56 trams coming around now. It's 7:12 in the morning, and obviously people go to work quite early here. This is, by the way, the first time I've had to wear a raincoat on this holiday. There have been other wet days, but not for long and not when it really mattered. Though it's very light at the moment. Better get on. Only a couple more stops to go now. And travelling against the peak, there's only one person in this car of the tram. And the stops are pretty short too, although all stops are compulsory. One thing I did notice yesterday in Szeged was they don't seem to ring the buzzer before they shut the doors. The line gets a bit slower now because it does a few twists and turns. And as you possibly guess, this is the balloon loop terminus for the 56. Track construction here is wooden sleepers set in concrete to the top of the sleeper. I decided to make a short farewell visit to Budapest, and this wasn't running earlier when I was here some weeks ago. It's certainly running now. The rain just started in the last half hour or so. It was cloudy before then, Sunday morning. It's about 1 o'clock now, so it goes goes on the hour from here, and we're just waiting for the regular tram, and this came first. So we let it go because there was only 2 stops to the terminus. Now we'll pay the special fare and go the other direction, wherever that might be. Regular service has a little bit of trouble in the wet here. At least the dull weather provides some balanced illumination for some inside photography. Interesting lampshades, and also the roof arches. I've got writing on them as well. My junior guide and translator tells me that it says don't smoke and don't spit. Woodwork's very striking anyway. Considerable contrast in the colours. The car's got air brakes. Looks very much like the system on the C-Class in Sydney, where you had the pressure gauge on top of the pedestal. This Hungarian controller, probably Siemens or somebody else's under licence. (1908), ended normal service in 1976, 1985 to 87. It ran in some form of tourist museum service, but in its old state. And in 1987, for the 100th anniversary of the Budapest transport, it was completely renovated, and that's as it is today. The other details are technical. Looks like maximum speed's 40 k's. Motor 51.8 kilowatts. Whether that's for one motor or two, I'm just not sure. They cast a brass plate specially for the renovation, so. Amazing, there's another one across the river. be a speed limit on the bridge. There's just a little underpass under the bridge. In case you haven't guessed, we made a quick trip by tram across to the other side of the river, and we'll catch this other vintage car back towards home. As I said, we're on the other side of the river now, and there's the other one. They've got similar lengths of journey and similar identical departure time, so it's no real fluke that you'll get a tram on each side of the river running together like this. This car is fairly similar to the other one. This is number 436. Although it's got a less ornate roof. And music whether you want it or not. They both release the brake before they take power, which gives a rather violent start. Both drivers, that is. There's no windscreen wiper, so you open the windscreen and clean it with one of those hand wiper things. This is on the Route 2, the other one was on the Route 19. Still stops at every stop with the special fare of 60 forints from Dolt as opposed to the normal 15. Effectively gets rid of nearly every passenger. It's a bit of a pity. Child fare is 25 forints, which is still 10 more than the normal adult fare for it. Roughly double of forints to get the number of cents. Another underpass under a bridge. This is crossover dead end terminus, and they drove the tram the other way a little bit just to flip the bow collector over. And as it's raining, I don't want to get wet waiting 15 minutes till it goes, so I think that might be all you're going to see of this. It's Monday today in Budapest, and tomorrow's a public holiday, their Constitution Day. Ali thinks dating from 1945 or so. And in the best Australian tradition, with a public holiday on a Tuesday, everybody takes Monday off. But that's not the problem at the moment. It looks like we might have a minor breakdown. We're on the second tram set, and soon caught up to this one. Everyone's sort of just hanging around doing nothing. Don't really know what's happening at this stage, but of course with 3 car sets, it doesn't take long before you've got 9 trams lined up in the street, just on 2 routes on a Sunday timetable. Looks like it might be a medical problem. And of course, the best tramway tradition, they park right on the tram line. So anyway, I'll get back and see what happens. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the tram. Old lady felt a bit poorly. And having come from the land of traditional Tatras, it's interesting to see the differences between these ones. Thank you, Ali. For example, the standard Tatras have solid plastic seats, usually 1-on-1 seating, which gives you only 20 seats in most of those Tatras in East Germany, which is not good enough, whereas these are 2-on-1, slightly padded. Of course, the other thing is the control gear. These have a notching system, whereas the others have the traditional PCC accelerator unit. The others probably give a better performance, smoother performance, but these probably have less maintenance. And the third set's... A lot of places don't distinguish between buses and trolley buses, and on the map sometimes not even what mode at all. Now we're going to ride the 75, and I'm hoping to find something a bit unusual to show you. Visit by the Pope. Our trolley bus was a diesel bus most of the way here because of deviations. But what you're going to see in a second, I first saw when I arrived in Budapest 9 weeks ago, and it's taken all this time since to find it. Just watch those poles. Craziest thing I've ever seen. And they gradually come together on the other side of the bridge. It shouldn't be too long till one comes, whoops, the other way. There it is. Looks terribly wrong, doesn't it? This is on the Route 75, Ungaria Kurut, where it passes under one of the mainline railway bridges. Just up from the trolley bus bridge is one of the tram lines. Route 28. Just here across is a trolley bus, and the nearest wire is still partly separated, although the other direction, probably can't see through the trees, is normal spacing. In the short ride we had, the trolley buses do seem to take it pretty careful through the special work, but there weren't any dewirements. These cobblestone roads are something else. Maybe see the twin troughing.